Good afternoon. My name's Ed McDonald. I'm Vice President of the Towson University Alumni Association, and I live in Federal Hill in Baltimore City. And I'm here to show you a few of my favorite museums that are within a short bike ride here of Federal Hill. Let's take a look. Here's the first stop on our tour, the American Visionary Art Museum, located at 800 Key Highway at the foot of Federal Hill. This museum opened in 1995 and is home to an eclectic art collection gathered from all around the world. Here's one of the most iconic sculptures of Baltimore. It's a whirligig created by famed Eastern North Carolina artist Wallace Simpson. It's made up of thousands of moving metal pieces and twirls in the wind on a regular basis. It's quite a sight to behold. Here's another shot of some of the outdoor sculptures that are located at the American Visionary Art Museum. Since the American Visionary Art Museum is located just a stone's throw from Fort McHenry, you can see they put this famous expression on the side of the building, "Oh, say can you see," on the Star-Spangled Banner, which was written in the waters just off Fort McHenry. Hello, fellow Tigers. Those of you with young kids at home, a great place to take them would be right here in Baltimore in the Inner Harbor at the Maryland Science Center. It's a great place for kids of all ages to learn all about science. The next stop here on our bike tour of Museums of Baltimore is what I think is the best museum of Baltimore, the Museum of Baseball, Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Of course, like everything else, is closed right now. We don't know when the baseball season will open, but hopefully someday soon we'll be watching the Orioles again play. And hey, the good news is they're not going to lose 100 games this year, so that's good news. And across the parking lot, you'll see is M&T Bank Stadium, the home of the Ravens. And hopefully this coming year, the home for the AFC champions. And as they say, just a long fly ball from here is the next stop on our tour, the home of Babe Ruth. Of course, here are the closed gates of Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Hopefully, before the summer of 2020 hits, we'll be having baseball here again in Baltimore. On February 6, 1895, a baby by the name of George Herman Ruth was born right here at 216 Emory Street in Baltimore. He later became famous the world over as Babe Ruth, the famous New York Yankee slugger. This is his birthplace behind me. It's also his museum. And it's a stop for any baseball fan, especially fans for the Orioles, because it's also the official museum of the Baltimore Orioles. So when you're planning a game at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, make time to stop at the Babe Ruth Museum as well. It's well worth the effort. In addition to being a stop for any baseball fan, the Babe Ruth Museum is also a great place where you could host an event. There's an outdoor area, or you could use the entire museum inside to host your next event. So think about that when you're planning your next gathering. That's when we can all get back together again. Hey Tigers, if you're a fan of railroads and their history, then you have to make a stop at the B&O Railroad Museum. As it says on the wall behind me, this is the birthplace of American railroading. Inside the famous Mount Clair shops, you'll see all kinds of famous old rail systems, engines, cars, and just the entire history of railroading in the United States, because it all started right here in Baltimore. So make sure you make the B&O Railroad Museum a stop on your museum tour. Hey Tigers, this is the last stop on our museum tour of the day, and it's probably the one that means the most to me. It's the Irish Railroad Workers Museum. It's a fairly obscure museum. It only opens on Fridays and Saturdays in Baltimore, but it tells the story of Irish immigrants who came to Baltimore to help build the railroads. As you know, Baltimore was the birthplace of American railroading, and these simple houses behind me, this is where the Irish railroad workers lived. It's a fascinating tour. You get to see how people lived in the 1840s and 1850s, this wave of Irish immigrants who came to Baltimore to help build Baltimore into the transportation hub that it was then and still is today.